Yo, good morning everybody. How y'all doing? I definitely hope that y'all good. Really just chilling. But in this video, I want to speak with us just about a concept, and it's called crossing the abyss of understanding. And basically, what I realized in my own transformation is that all the shit that you be reading about is real, and everything that you read and everything you go through is really not even for you. It's really for the being within you. And the being within you, we call it the subconscious mind, but the subconscious mind, even if you call it the subconscious mind, you have to think the subconscious mind is an awareness. It is an awareness. You not beating your heart. You not pumping the blood through your veins. You not growing these bones. You not growing this hair and stuff. You not really controlling the body like that. You're not even really controlling circumstances that happen to you in your life like that. To be honest, we really just are witnesses. They said that when LeBron James first got in the NBA, we are all a witness, and we all are witnesses to the God within and its own transformation, and we are looking over the God within and assisting in its transformation. You have to be an ally as opposed to a foe to yourself, because a lot of our people, we've been made to be foes to ourselves, whether it's something as simple as we believe in a deity or a being outside of ourselves. Something as simple as we'll see the female and the people that we need to get with, but we'll be afraid. We have our pride and all this other lower shit within us that's preventing us from really fulfilling our soul's destiny. You have to fulfill your solar destiny in this life. But we're gonna get into the abyss of understanding, and basically what it is just levels of understanding. But what it is, it's an actual shift, because I've actually just made the shift and actually gotten initiated into my own personal internal realm. All right, hold on right quick. All right, so yeah, the abyss of understanding, and what it is basically analyzing and studying nature and studying the mysteries and looking at all the mythological stories and the mythologies and looking even at modern day religions, and then taking these stories and relating them and comparing them, not even necessarily comparing them, but using these stories and seeing how they actually are talking about yourself. You know what I'm saying? So we'll just use the one that everybody knows about Osiris, Heru, and Isis. You know what I'm saying? So it's not like there was some ancient man named Osiris, even though there probably were. This story, these people did exist, but it wasn't like this is one person. It was a story about a group of people, a story about multiple people, multiple situations, and multiple happenings over life. You know what I'm saying? It wasn't just one person, but you have Osiris, Isis, and Heru. So as opposed to it just being some ancient man, Osiris, who got killed by his brother, and then Isis, his wife, had to go around the world and find his body and put him back together, but she couldn't find his phallus. So through magic, she made a phallus and sat on top of him and conceived a baby, Heru. You can look at it that way, but in all actuality, that story is really actually talking about the science of yourself. And this is what I'm saying, y'all. The abyss of understanding is actually seeing and really knowing. So the abyss of understanding is actually knowing. So, you know what I'm saying? So understanding leads to knowing. So when you understand something, you actually know it. You then know it. You know what I'm saying? Because knowing is different from believing. So understanding is the middle passage between believing and knowing. And it's believing and knowing anything, because a lot of people are under the false conception that just because they stop believing in a Jesus or a God or a white Jesus and God, that they know something now, and that there's some God or that there's something special in this grand universe. In reality, and here's what I'm gonna tell y'all that the Spirit told me. In reality, a lot of so-called conscious people set themselves further back, because you feel you got this little ego. You feel like, oh, I'm something because I know some little knowledge. I start believing in some little God or some little Jesus or whatnot. But then you still don't really know shit, and you really don't even be living the new information that you come across. You just start quoting and spitting facts on, and your ego gets fed up. You know what I'm saying? So you're not really doing anything. You're still in the lower realm, and you're still in the external realm of believing some shit. The abyss of understanding is the place that you walk through to get to a level of knowing, where you know the truth, where you know God, where you know the Spirit, and where you know your fucking self. This is the level that everybody has to go to, and this is the level that it was written that we shall go to. It. So-called age of Aquarius is here. The age of knowing. It's time to know this shit. We not believing no more. You know what I'm saying? Pisces, I believe I'm correct. Pisces was the one with the faith. Have faith. Faith is that Christians love to quote that shit. Faith is the evidence of works not seen, and something about, you know what I'm saying, seeing but believing, you know what I'm saying? Y'all know that verse. Y'all look it up. I think it may be Hebrews or something, but that's what the Christians say. Faith is the evidence of things not yet seen, but believe. It's something like that, you know what I'm saying? But that's what we did before. But when you started to study these facts and you cross through the abyss of understanding, you start to know this shit, bro, because you start to know that the things they done told me in school actually don't really add up, because I'm analyzing shit for myself. When you're in that believing realm, and when you're in the external realm, shit is determined by something and somebody outside of you. So some shit is determined by what the preacher done told you. Your understanding of that Bible is based on what your mom and dad told you, or what the preacher told you. Your understanding of history, even how you look at nature, is what science and what school done told you. No one, well, I can't say no one. Few people are actually in their own school. And this is what I'm telling you. So when you cross the abyss of understanding, you get to a place of knowing, and then you get to your own school. You know what I'm saying? I'm teaching myself now. I'm listening to my own inner spirit. My own inner spirit is guiding me, y'all. This is where we have to go to. You know what I'm saying? So this is where I'm letting y'all know that I done just reached in my own journey. It's like, bro, this shit is all facts, y'all. Like, your spirit is an actual being, and the soul actually goes through a journey. So just like you as the human, you go through a journey. So you might have lived in one little area. You might have went to one little elementary school. You might have even moved, changed, and went to another school, went to middle school, high school. You might have went to college, might have moved and lived in a different state, in a different area of the world. So just like you kind of go on a journey externally, when you start to get on knowledge of self, your spirit begins to go on the journey. And the deeper you get into the journey, the more real the journey becomes. And there's also a concept that I figured out called quieting the external world. And the more you quiet the external world, the more the internal world becomes real and appears. Because I was thinking about this the other day. In reality, I realized that I really don't talk like that, y'all. The only time I really talk is like I'm having conversations with my roommate, maybe talking to my parents, making these little videos, and maybe interacting with people at work if I have to. But I realized the other day, like, in reality, like, I really don't be talking like that. And that just kind of showed me, like, in reality, like, my being is more so living in the internal realm. Like, I'm not really talking like that, but that's because the internal voice is steady speaking to me and giving me some type of new revelation, steady observing something, and steady putting together some type of mystery within myself. That's why I'm never talking. I'm never talking and yet alone even really interacting with this external world, because that's not where my being is at. Like, my being has transformed, y'all. Like, I made the jump, and this jump actually exists. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that's why I'm just telling y'all. So even just because you start believing in a Jesus or a God, just because you know some conscious information, you know what I'm saying? I was having a conversation with me and my roommate and one of my friends, and I realized that me and my roommate, we on a whole nother level. And niggas don't really be knowing the shit that we be on. I thought it was commonplace. I thought that these conscious people knew what we knew. I thought the conscious people knew our connection to the so-called aliens and stuff. I thought they knew that we was the original people or whatnot. But a lot of people there is talking these facts. They're quoting what they heard on the videos. But like, a lot of people don't really know this shit for themselves, y'all. This is what I'm telling y'all. This is the realm that we're going to. The realm of knowing is knowing this shit for yourself. So this is what we all have to do, because to be honest, the religious people, they're dead. They don't really even exist to me no more. I done got so high that them people don't even exist to me no more. And the only people that the lowest people to me are really the conscious people that really don't know no shit. But even them are getting to a point where they don't even exist to me no more, because I'm going to the place of knowing. And the deeper I get into knowing, I'm really disappearing from y'all, bro. That's what I'm saying, y'all. So y'all know how Elijah, he was in the Bible, and I believe maybe even Enoch too. But y'all know Elijah, the prophet in the Bible, and bro never died. Like, bro, he basically was so divine, and it was just so in touch with God, and he lived a so-called so righteous life that he never died. Like, God just lifted him up. Like, this is where a nigga is really going. Like, I'm really disappearing from the external world, because I'm actually getting into the real internal world. The external world, it don't even really exist to me no more. Like, and it's crazy because time be going by fast. Like, everybody be experiencing this shit. Like, the days be going by so fast. Everything be blending together. Like, shit don't really faze me no more in this life. Like, still don't really have no woman or no money like that, but the niggas really don't even really give a fuck about that shit. Like, my internal world is slick, shiny, and it's becoming real, and that's because the nigga had real faith. All y'all talking about, oh yeah, I got faith in God, faith that this gonna work out. Like, nigga, I had faith in myself. So we gonna get back onto the abyss of understanding. But even before you get into the abyss of understanding, you gotta jump off the cliff of belief first. Because I jumped off the cliff of that past former life shit, and I didn't really know that. I didn't really know what I was doing when I first started getting into the conscious information. Like, it really just started with me just sitting in my room and meditating. Like, but I was willing to leave everything I knew behind. As soon as I heard the first bit of history of them, and they was talking about how Christianity was really used to enslave the mind, that was my spark. And from there, I completely threw it away. And I jumped full head on into the knowledge. Like, so really, and everybody comes to it differently, you know what I'm saying? But like, if you want to talk about faith and stuff, you have to have real faith in what you're doing. Because I'm realizing a lot of this occult shit, a lot of this spiritual shit, it don't be becoming real to you until a couple of weeks or maybe a month later, until you get into the information. So you'll be reading the information and you'll come across this new concept. But it's not like that shit just worked for you on the first day or all of a sudden. It's not until you go through some type of ritual, until you seem like you're going to get destroyed or some type of chaotic event. And then the shit is like a fucking epiphany or a revelation. And then you get it. So if y'all want to talk about real faith is jumping into your inner self and just and being willing to follow yourself in darkness, because the self is leading me. I don't know where I'm going, but the self is constantly teaching me something new and just taking me deeper and deeper on my journey, you know what I'm saying? So I'm following myself. That's the real God. That's the so-called Jesus, you know what I'm saying? How Jesus like, take up your cross and follow me. I'm taking up my own cross and I'm following myself, bro. Like, this is just what I'm letting y'all know, you know what I'm saying? So you got to jump full on, but just know that there's this place called the abyss of understanding, and it's the place that you have to cross in order to get to knowing. And when you get to knowing, this is when you know the information. This is when you can damn near fucking read these people's minds, bro. And it's just really like, but so y'all know about how in the Greek mythology, they talk about the Mount Olympus. There's always some like mountain that the gods live on. And I actually just realized that, bro, I'm moving back to that mountain. Like, that mountain is actually just a level of consciousness. And the more knowing that you get, the higher your consciousness travels, like in this life or on that God mountain. And I'm living back really higher than the gods. You know what I'm saying? Zeus and all them other niggas, these niggas ain't got shit on me. Because I was in the low realms. But now I done got back high. So, you know what I'm saying? So I don't even want to call myself the God. I'm the one. You know what I'm saying? I'm the one. I'm made in the image. You know what I'm saying? So that's just what it really is, dog. So you got to cross the abyss of understanding, leave belief behind, and cross the abyss of understanding. And that way you can get to knowing. And when you get to this place of knowing, this is really where the freedom is at. And really, when you get to this place of knowing, like, this is where the internal bliss is at. Because when you in that belief shit, this is when you still even get upset just because somebody believes something different from you. Goddamn, like, leave all that shit behind. But like, once you get to the place of knowing, like, your being is secure, because like, it's the science of self. Like, there's a science to ourself, and the place of knowing basically is the puzzle piece or the answer to that mystery of yourself. You know what I'm saying? So get in touch with yourself and initiate yourself into the place of knowing. Like, that's where the heaven is at.